Welcome, colleagues. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to our first ever in the history of UNFPA town hall on innovation. And we are so lucky we have full and unconditional support and sponsorship by our executive leadership. We just give it you maybe 1 minute or two. Diana, I know, is joining us. And maybe to start, we can start with the video about our innovation. Samira, can you please play the video?
Progress today moves at breakneck speed. The possibilities are huge. So are the challenges. Amid continued advances, too many people are left behind. At UNFPA, we strive for a world where every person can exercise their human rights. Getting there is not easy, but one thing is clear. Business as usual is not enough. We must innovate for change. We must make the most of cutting-edge technology. We must think big, think collaboratively, think from the bottom up instead of the top down. Fearlessly take calculated risks that can deliver on a mass scale. Through innovation, we can lead the global drive for breakthrough solutions and achieve transformative change for women and girls. Let's innovate for 2030. Our blueprint for innovation is the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs. The Agenda imagines a world with universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. Let's innovate to get to zero. Zero maternal deaths. Zero unmet need for family planning. Zero violence against women and girls. Getting to zero depends on all our programs harnessing innovation to unblock bottlenecks and scale up results. Let's innovate to be bold, vocal, and visible. Innovation ecosystems link people and ideas. Collaboration speeds transformation. We can channel its power by boldly mobilizing people to see, understand, and act on our mission. So let's move. It is time to make innovation part of our organizational DNA. We must explore, test, learn, partner, seek out innovative financing, and replicate what works far and wide. For realizing the SDGs, for getting to zero, for every woman and young person without exception. Innovation is our future, starting here. Starting now.
Starting here, starting now. We welcome our dearest sponsor of innovation, our DD Diana Keita. Diana, please, the floor is yours.
Hi, colleagues. Good day, wherever you are. And dear innovators, I say innovator because if you're connected to this event, and there are over 600 of you that have registered for this event today, that means that you share at least one common value. We all believe in innovation. And no, innovation is not the future. Innovation is the present. So that's why we're here today together. We believe in innovation that matters. We believe in innovation that brings transformative and sustainable changes. And we believe in innovation that accelerates progress for women and girls. As we walk through the decade of action, and as we implement our strategic plan, let's remember that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals cite gender equality, women empowerment, and innovation as driving forces to achieve the 2030 agenda. The UN Secretary General, excuse me, Antonio Guterres, calls us to be bold, to be revolutionary, and disrupt, because without innovation, there is no way we can overcome the challenge of our time. Dear colleagues, moreover, the UN has placed technological innovation among the 5 megatrends that are shaping the world. The megatrends that generate explicit benefit for societies and economies, maximizing positive impacts and minimizing any adverse ones. At UNFPA, we know that maintaining the status quo will not bring us different results. Innovation is essential if we want to deliver at the scale and speed needed to realize the International Conference on Population and Development Program of Action and achieve the 3 transformative results by 2030. And harnessing the power of innovation is a key change strategy to maximize the impact of UNFPA interventions. Making a positive impact at scale, at the national level, across countries and regions, is only possible if we innovate at scale together with strategic partners. If we aim to achieve the 3 transformative results, we must transform to make programs more effective, more cost-effective, sustainable, and time-efficient. Therefore, UNFPA Strategic Plan 22-25 puts a significant emphasis on innovation. It sent a very clear message. UNFPA is changing to achieve transformative results. That is why we have committed to harnessing the power of innovation by investing in corporate innovation architecture and capabilities, scaling up innovation that have proven to be effective and impactful, elevating new partnership, leveraging financing for innovation, and expanding the communities and culture for innovation. Under the leadership of the executive director, we have formed the transition team led by the very able Nigina to help us identify missing elements of those which need to be taken at a new level to enable the organization to achieve its ambition in terms of innovation. The team has interviewed many of you, and thank you for that, and external partner as well, to outline the roadmap with key activities required to take us towards our goal. You will hear more detail about the identifying building blocks today. And I want to reiterate, innovation is a journey that starts right now. There is no endpoint. There is no right or wrong. It's all about mindset. It's about thinking differently to solve real problems. And I know we all do. We all believe in progress for women and for girls. I thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Diane, and thank you most of all for your amazing support throughout this journey. We started of course some years ago, but this year we're really taking it to a new level. You heard our DDK. Status quo is not going to take us where we want to be. Doing the same things the same way will not bring different results. This is why we're here. And before we proceed, we want to hear from you. What does innovation mean to you? Samira, please guide us.
Absolutely. So welcome colleagues to this first ever town hall on innovation. And so what we request colleagues to do is either using this QR code or joining via slido.com and this code number 360498. We want to hear from you in response to this question. What does innovation mean to you? So we'll take the next minute to gather your responses, and then we'll have Nagina proceed from there.
So we see already some responses: doing good things in new ways, solutions for unsolved problems, technology, doing good things in new ways, creativity, disruption, buzzword, agility, out of the box, walking smartly, you stopping UN bureaucracy, opportunity. Well, disruption is a winner so far, as we see. Still, disruption is a winner, though we do see a lot of other words. Bring new ideas to life. Collaboration, partnership, results, evolve, more new ideas, efficiency, change mindset, creativity and disruption, and still disruption. So I guess we all agree with our Secretary General: disrupt if we want to do things differently, be revolutionary and disruptive in what we do. Okay. Amazing. Okay, Samira, I think that's a great reflection and helps us to move to the introduction of our roadmap on innovation. And Samira, can you please help us and switch to the roadmap now? Thank you. That's great. So I have a secret that I want to share with you. We are not going to tell you anything new today, because everything we are going to tell you, we heard from you, all of you. Those are your ideas, your suggestions. So this is your roadmap. We innovate because we believe in progress for women and girls. We believe in rights and choices for all. And we believe innovation will accelerate it. We aspire to achieve it by harnessing the power of innovation to boost positive social impact through transformative and sustainable solutions, and leverage opportunities, partnership, financing, and technology. We believe that brings us much closer to realizing our transformative goals. Key pillars of our innovation roadmap are strengthen innovation architecture and capability, expanded community of innovators, and nurturing culture, partnership, and innovative financing. We believe this roadmap will take us to the place where we are able not only to do innovation, but to manage it, think different across the organization, share the success with partners, and move from funding to financing. We plan to invest in various building blocks to realize our vision and key pillars, as I mentioned earlier. And you can see here some of the elements we put in our roadmap, and shortly you are going to hear more details from our iChampions about what we plan to do this year. We have a team of innovation champions leading different groups of activities, and you see their names here on the slide. The cohort of innovation champions this year are people who lead the implementation of the roadmap, who champion the change for innovation and help to build those elements of mainstreaming innovation across the system. The iChampions, as we call them, will work with you as we roll out the activities, and we will keep you informed about the progress. What we also plan to do this year is to establish a small team of innovation unit placed at the cross-divisional intersection and acting as enabler, catalyst, and accelerator. The team will be supported by interdivisional team of innovation champions. Our value added: lives saved, rights and choices ensured. The proposed actions are not going to change the world around us, because the world has already changed. These actions will enable us to respond to those changes in the most cost-effective and time-efficient way, just as Diana mentioned earlier. Now, I'm going to invite some of our iChampions to share a brief preview. What is it inside those building blocks? What does it mean for you, your units, your teams? And before that, we would like to hear from you again. What is the most important support you need to be able to innovate? What is the most important support you need to be able to innovate in your work? And Samira will guide us again for the poll question.
So again, colleagues, you'll see that we've activated Slido once more. And so using the same link and the same code you used earlier, we want to respond to the question that Nigina mentioned. What is the most important support you need to be able to innovate in your work? So again, we'll take maybe 30 seconds and I'll hand it back to Nigina for the analysis.
And this is so interesting again. It seems that the need is very different. Well, there is a winner of a knowledge sharing, but I'm not going to analyze it because I will give now the floor to our iChampions and they will reflect on that as well. And the first person I invite to speak is Marvin. And he is going to tell us about the capacity building, incentives, and culture of innovation. Marvin, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Nigina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. My name is Marvin Hoff. I am the Chief of Career Development and the Talent Mobility branch, and my teams work on topics such as learning, leadership development, diversity inclusion, talent management. And we're also very much looking forward to partnering with all of you on the innovation topics. We can see there's a lot of interesting topics coming up as part of the polling. And this leads us into speaking about the co-creation of UNFPA's New People strategy, which will be aligned to the new strategic plan for the next 4 years. And it will be a co-creation process. So please stay tuned to hear more about it. And we will be incorporating innovation topics and principles to make sure that it's really manifested in our strategic imperatives. In addition, we are going to launch LinkedIn Learning, which is a new learning platform with over 14,000 learning resources. And these come in different languages such as Arabic, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and English. And we will curate specific learning paths for you, such as on innovation, communication, leadership development. But also you can search for specific learning topics based on your individual needs and interests and innovation projects you might be working on. So please stay tuned. An update is coming shortly. In addition, we are planning to create a knowledge exchange platform also to foster the innovation culture. And just as we have seen in the poll, this is something that is of high interest. So thank you so much for the polling information. And another important initiative we are planning to launch is the new Innovation Team Award. As part of the New People strategy, we plan to have and introduce a corporate recognition program in the next year at a larger scale. And with this year, we are piloting the Innovation Team Award, and we will award teams, and anybody at UNFPA is eligible, even consultants and interns. So every person who contributes, it will be an open peer nomination process, and we will award those projects that show innovation and impact, but also those that show an innovation culture and how we increased it. And the winners and the runner-up will get certificates and more. So please stay tuned. There's a lot happening, and we're very excited to contribute to the innovation culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. And this is so exciting. And I also hope that it really responds to many, many suggestions which we heard from you when we interviewed many of you for this roadmap. And now I would like to invite our frontier technology guru Nayanesh to talk about bringing technology to programming to help our innovation. Nayanesh, please, the floor is yours.
Sure, Nagina. Thank you, colleagues. Technology is playing an important role in solving some of the world's greatest challenges. As many of you have started to recognize that we are now experiencing a surge in interest within UNFPA in learning various emerging technologies. The innovation roadmap has a component that addresses this surge. It calls for the organization of a series of talks to get you familiarized with the emerging technologies. We are calling them iTalk series. On a regular basis, you all will be invited to attend iTalks on various technologies and their application in achieving UNFPA's transformative goals. We'll have colleagues from other UN agencies and experts from the private sector to lead each of the iTalks. As and when we have a successful implementation of a technology-based innovation within UNFPA, we'll also invite the implementing office to present their solution and share their knowledge and experience. And we saw that knowledge sharing is one of your favorite answers in the poll. This is with an aim to scale up these successful innovations. As DNA said, this is also very important in our roadmap. Already in the pipeline are iTalks on application of blockchain, drone-based delivery of commodities, interactive voice recording or IVR, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality. We'll soon publish an iTalk schedule to help you plan your attendance. We'll also work with various UNFPA offices to identify various opportunities for use of technology to improve program delivery. But you may ask how we may work with experts if we already have some ideas to implement innovative solutions, technology-based or otherwise. Well, another component in the roadmap is to ensure that your ideas get prompt attention. All your innovation-related questions are promptly answered. The questions could be related to validation of your ideas, regarding internal processes or policies, or any other innovation topics for that matter. We will ensure that the doctor is always in the house, in all time zones, to cater to your questions and provide you with the right diagnosis. Our vision is to eventually make it a self-service tool that will allow you to search and find answers to your own questions. I'll be working with the innovation team to lead the implementation of these two roadmap components. But I welcome your suggestions and would like to invite you to contact me with your suggestions or if you need further information. Thank you all. Back to Nagina.
Thank you, Nainesh. And I think that invitation extends to all of us. Any suggestions, any ideas, reach out, share, and we will definitely listen. And now I'd like to invite Mona to talk about another exciting initiative we're going to introduce, the iZone, the Operational Space for Innovation. Mona, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Nagina, and hi, everyone. Good to see many of you. I'm Mona Kördok. I'm the Chief of the Quality Management Unit in DMS, and I will co-lead the iZone with our dear colleagues, Kamila and Atanas. So what is the iZone? It's a new initiative, as Nagina said. It's in the outline that she showed earlier, it's situated under the core pillar of architecture and capabilities that we need to build internally to enable us to innovate. And in essence is a space or a safe space, I think, as it was initially conceived, where we will be looking at operational challenges to innovation. So we will look at operational bottlenecks and barriers, try to identify them with all of you that prevent us from innovating, from bringing those new ideas to life that all of you spoke about earlier, to disrupt, if you want. The idea is that we will together co-create solutions to unblock those bottlenecks, to let us proceed and to scale up those solutions to really mainstream innovation. So the idea will grow and more activities can benefit from the solutions. They can be an impetus, although initially focused on innovation initiatives, for broader adaptation that we may need to accelerate in the new strategic plan. Of course, we will integrate this work, those ideas, with other corporate efforts that try to achieve the same, namely the ERP initiative, the ERM, Enterprise Risk Management Initiative, and the UNFPA change agenda that aims for UNFPA to become more integrated, more results-oriented, more agile, and more innovative. So how will it work is a very good question, and we're all still fine-tuning the concept and the idea. But in essence, again, we will look at those bottlenecks, and those can be policy gaps, policies we don't have. They can be restrictions we have built into our policies, but they can also be our own perception, our own reading and interpretation of the rules that we have at the moment. So we'll try to tackle all of this equally. And often it can be an insecurity. How do we apply current rules to new ideas and new ways of doing things? So the bottlenecks will be carefully examined by all of us. And obviously we'll first try to solve them through existing pathways, existing policy options, and so on, and try to clarify also what you can do, what is your responsibility, and also what's your accountability when you try to implement something new. And I think the key will be that we ask for every policy that we may not have, why don't we have it? Or for every restriction or control that we do have, why do we have it? Why was it established? And what are the risks that those particular rules and controls were established to mitigate? And once we've arrived there, we can then look at those risks or those costs and assess what does that mean for that particular innovation? Is it a big risk? And then we can adjust the control as needed. So that's, I think, at the moment, sort of the idea that we have. But again, it's fluid. We can adjust the concept, and we will need all of you. We will need your, not just your bottlenecks, but also your solutions, because we know a lot of solutions already exist and are being implemented in the field. So please bring them up. You know, they may benefit others too, and all your ideas. So my colleagues, Camila from ECARO and Atanas from ITSO, we will really welcome anyone who brings ideas to us. And we will look for people who are particularly knowledgeable and willing to find solutions. And we will work together with a good representation and balance, as we always need, between HQ, regional office and country offices. And of course, closely engaged with policy owners and work together. One last word, what the iZone is not, although we were asked to disrupt, it's not a space without rules and controls. It's not a parallel policy manual, and it's not a quick way to bypass policies. Nigina, I leave it here.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you. And this is a moving target, as Mona explained. We might iterate and change it, looks and response to all the challenges, but definitely it still will create and enable more innovation across organization. We really truly believe so. Now I invite Mira to introduce to us the plans on innovative financing. Mira, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nigina. So my name is Mira Ihalainen, and I work at the Multilateral Partnerships and Business Development unit in DCS, and my co-champions are Casper Peak and Nicole Kim. So obviously, great innovative approaches deserve to be matched with accelerated financing. And we know that there's not enough resources to meet the ICPD agenda, definitely not with public domestic resources and international development assistance. So we need to get creative, and we need to go and shake down some different types of money trees to create incentives and unblock both private and public financing and investments so that they work to ensure rights and choices for all. So we really hope use this opportunity to kickstart this kind of thinking and approach in UNFPA. So, and a lot is already happening. So I want to firstly give a shout out already to some of our front runners in Kenya, where our team is transforming the world's first adolescent sexual reproductive health impact fund into a broader outcome fund that would benefit millions of adolescent girls. In Asro region, where the regional office and Jordan country office, together with the Islamic Development Bank, are testing programmatic metrics to form basis of a girl impact fund, an investment framework on adolescent girls. Or in Rwanda, where our country office, in partnership with the broader UN country team, are looking at performance-based financing for health posts to ensure enhanced quality and access to primary healthcare services. Or in Cameroon, where our team, together with ILO Social Finance and Islamic Development Bank, is testing for community-based insurance to address costs of reproductive, maternal, and newborn health services. So what we hope to do together with you is to really have first a knowledge exchange and a management platform that would act as an interactive marketplace. And I noticed one of the knowledge sharing and knowledge management was one of the highest needs. And we want you to join us to make this responsive to your needs. To kickstart this, we will be sharing a questionnaire to all the business units. We have done this 2 years ago. We want to repeat it to map out all the engagement and pipeline opportunities that exist at the moment so that we have a baseline and share those with everybody. We want to also make sure that we have feedback groups that are led at regional and country level established to guide what we should prioritize in terms of development of instruments and enabling environment for you to move your initiatives forward. We will kickstart already with development of 2 types of instruments where we know there's demand, which is one which helps you to resource co-creation of these instruments and moving towards these instruments with partners before we actually have any resources available. And another that helps you work with social entrepreneurs, especially at local level, including those led by young people and women. We want to make sure that this platform helps to share lessons learned and opportunities because we hope that we can piggyback on experiences that already exist. And not everything will still work. So there will be a clear expectation that some of these things will fail, but we will contribute then to the learning on this area. And also we have secured some resources and we engage with partners to be able to deliver pro bono support based on your needs and based on the types of instruments that you would be engaging. And lastly, capacities to engage. This will be a learning journey for all of us. And if you're someone who just wants to familiarize themselves with the concepts and terminology, this is for you. Or even if you're taking forward some of these elements. So if you want to know what the difference between a bond and an impact bond is, or want to know what equity fund is, this will cater for that. And because this is such an important element of the whole move from funding to financing, we want to make sure that we follow that path in concrete terms and not just in buzzwords. So I have the pleasure to announce that our Grand Champion DED program, Dina Keita, will host in the coming weeks the first session to kickstart us off on what it takes to accelerate this transition in UNFPA. So we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mira. A lot of new words indeed. We are all learning, and I hope in just few months it will not be anything new. We will be expert and will also really unlock the opportunities which innovative financing offering us. Colleagues, I also see that some of you raising hands. We encourage you to post your questions in the Q&A or chat because it will be easier for us then to answer those questions. And now I invite Alvaro and Gilles to tell us about Show and Tell and Ideas Banks and many other exciting and cool activities.
Hello, colleagues. Good morning from the regional office in Panama. Nice to see you and great to know that you are fully engaged in this new process of how we do things differently in order to achieve better results. The communication component, of course, it is collaborative effort and working with Leila, with Jacqueline, with all of our colleagues in MCV. It has a very important component, of course, in technologies, working with Nayanesh and his team, and of course, everything related to partnerships and innovative financing, and Mira was telling us. So we're trying to bring everything together in order to be able to tell the story differently, because I fully believe that for innovation to shape at the level that we are imagining at the global, regional, and national level, it will be possible only if we work together with partners, with new partners, because that is very important. It's the partners that the private sector, so how we engage with them, but at the same time in how we tell and how we and show our story, our work, and that's really important. So this bringing together all these energy and synergies. So in order to shape, to tell the story, to be able to work with the partners, we're working on a new type of a dashboard, really that can be used internally and externally, where we can record, where we can present our ideas, our projects, our resources, our knowledge. So it will be really like a first space where you can go to learn, to showcase your work, and to mobilize financing, to mobilize support from external and internal sources. So that's what we are working on. I believe that will help us a lot in this process. And something that it will be very important is in the idea of telling the story. I mean, how we can really shape those stories in a very succinct way. So we will see 3 examples in a minute after Gilles, because Gilles will tell us about partnership, but those are real examples of how we can do this work together. So stay tuned. As we said, you will see a lot of resources coming your way. It will be easier, as everything in technology is making life easier, but it will give a very good resource that it will allow us to connect ideas, to connect people, to connect knowledge. And the most important thing is to really bring the full force of innovation at your hands, basically, that creating and doing things differently is not that difficult. It needs creativity, but that's exactly what we want to shape as an effort in the organization, is how to put together all these resources for you to become more specific in innovation and moving ideas better. So this is a pitch of what we're working on, but let me pass to the floor to Gilles. He will tell us about what we're working on partnerships. Gilles, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alvaro, and hello to everyone. My name is Gilles. I work in the Strategic Partnership branch. And as you said, Alvaro, private strategic partners really are crucial in providing the knowledge, the solutions, the resources to deliver innovations that really will accelerate the achievement of the 3 transformative results. And brand power partnerships, as we call them in the strategic partnerships framework, are a great way to back UNFPA with an ecosystem of partners. We will enhance our capacity on innovation, but also co-create those innovations with us. And so in that context, the ideas banks that will be established will identify the most innovative concepts and initiatives across the organization that the strategic partnership branch can then pitch to the private sector, so that we achieve scale and impact through these existing and new brain power partnerships, really working with a range of actors. We've talked about the technology sectors, startups, but thinking also about academia. We have a great network of more than 100 academic partners through Transform U, and thinking about completely new sectors, such as fashions and sports, that can also help us bring those ideas and those resources that we don't have, but that really contribute to our mandate. This was also, to your point, Alvaro, support the way we communicate internally and externally about the results generated by the strategic partnerships for innovation, to bring them to the next level in the coming years. And so now I'll ask Samira to show us a short video showcasing some of those examples, and some of them being done with our strategic brain power partnerships. Samira, up to you.
The Philippines has over 35,000 health centers. In every health center, there is Mila. She's a midwife, but most of her tasks revolve around keeping records, including the health center's contraceptive supply. It's really far from what she's supposed to do, and it's also very frustrating on her part. Every day, tons of papers land on Mila's desk, taking too much of her time just recording instead of actually providing services to mothers and babies in their area. Despite the hard work that Mila gives, there are still delays in the delivery of contraceptives, causing health centers to experience understocking or stockouts of contraceptives. While in a health center a few miles away, the midwife is having a lot of trouble with overstocking of contraceptives. What if Mila can simply scan the barcode of family planning commodities, similar to the system used in grocery and department store cashiers? This will definitely do away with a lot of her manual recording and reporting. The Department of Health, in partnership with the United Nations Population Fund, is promoting the use of barcode technology to ensure accurate, complete, and timely information on stock levels of family planning commodities from the national down to the barangay level. This initiative is called the Track and Trace. Track and Trace is simple. It simply scans the barcode of family planning commodities using any Android cellular phone. It generates records and reports using any prepaid or postpaid internet connection. But don't...
De todas maneras, duele, pero es un dolor que vale la pena, ¿ya?
Pues nada más harap ya nama daji na comunidad de Kedara El proyecto Partera Vital busca dos objetivos principales. Por un lado, la articulación de las parteras tradicionales del departamento del Chocó con los servicios de salud y por otro lado busca la articulación de estas parteras con los servicios de estadística y registro.
Con este piloto, con este proyecto, la partera va a tener un aplicativo, va a ingresar la información del niño que nace y va directamente al DANE.
Debería de haber una unión entre la partera tradicional y la occidental, porque hay cosas de que nosotras las parteras sabemos que los médicos no saben, y hay cosas que los médicos saben que otras parteras no saben.
Para mí ha sido una experiencia muy linda. Nosotros hemos desaprendido para aprender.
Les drones, le plateau technique est défaillant et rapidement nous procédons à l'évacuation du patient pour le centre de santé de Kéro. Cela prend assez de temps et la femme peut en mourir sur la voie.
Thank you, Samira, and thank you, colleagues from our country teams who contributed to this video. So that's, of course, is no way limit what we do across, because there are so many wonderful examples. And by the way, definitely not only limit to what was supported by innovation funds, but many, many other. And thank you for all the creativity and ideas and the social disruption which you're all doing. Now, we would like to open the floor for discussion, and of course, I'm looking at the clock and we will not be able to answer all the questions, but we will answer some, and then we promise we will answer in writing in the community of innovators on our MyNFPA website. And also we will be having the regional dialogues, so we will have more opportunities to engage with all of you and answer your questions with more details. So now we will just randomly probably select some questions, and first I will invite Marvin to talk about staff well-being and culture and how it's important to positively disrupt the culture in a way that it all encourages all of us to be more creative and innovative. Marvin, please.
Yes, thank you. It's very important to have senior leadership, which we do have, but also it's a shared accountability model where we do have senior leadership supporting. We need to have people managers and team leads that are open for ideas, that give breaks and space to the teams to come up with ideas. But then also all of us, we can really be the change and drive the change that we want to see. So we can bring up challenges, but also solutions and ideas. I think it's very important to have this attitude. But also around the topic of staff well-being and also diversity and inclusion. This is something that we are focusing much more. In the future, we have recruited our first diversity and inclusion officer, Luciano Constantino, last month, and we are also recruiting regional staff well-being counselors. So if you feel that there's a need for the country office or you in person, you can reach out to us and we can put you in contact with them so that you can find some ways to increase your well-being so that you have more headspace to be innovative. So you see there's a lot of innovations going on, but really I think it should start with you, and be open and don't be worried about taking risk, or at least proposing these. So I think really the culture we want to have is to bring out these ideas, to support each other, and to have an impact for our clients around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. And now I will also invite Mona to very briefly tell us about how are we working on creating or changing or bringing in new mechanisms to actually engage with new vendors and partners, which is really helping also innovation. And it's actually such a good question because we are actually as we speak, working on it. And there is one of the contractual modality Mona especially is working on exactly around this. So Mona, please.
Thanks, Nagina. Thanks. A very pertinent question and lots of issues raised in that question. So thank you, colleague. And yeah, this is already ongoing. And as always, we're pretty slow. So it's a process that's taking us longer than we should. But definitely the need is there. We know of the need and we are addressing it. In a way that can then be mainstreamed. Of course, I think the key word in that question is fast and fluid. And I think that's particularly interesting because fluid is not so easily married to a rule-based and procedure-based organization. We often work with very detailed procedures, not so much on principle, right? So we are interpreting it in that sense for much of what we do. But I think that the point of the risk that is raised in the question and in some of the others too will be key. And the word fear is often mentioned around the issue of risk, and that is not healthy in my view, and is not useful either. I think we need to be smart about it. We need to definitely examine it very carefully. What is the risk, and then what do we do with it? So there doesn't need to be that kind of, the door that is locked and we say we cannot. We can, but we have to be extremely conscious about what could happen and how we deal with that and accept that. So I think it's a matter of taking that notion apart a little, not just leaving it standing in the room, causing fear, causing us to paralyze, but also being very aware. There is accountability we all need to share. When we say, yes, we will do this, 1, 2, 3 can happen. If it happens, this is exactly what we'll do. And then try to obviously mitigate that the worst happens. So it's a real discussion in the organization. I think we're ready to engage in that discussion and be neither fearful nor reckless. We need to dare, but obviously within, within accountability standards that we want to uphold. I think fluid is the more difficult one to crack. So ideas are welcome. How we can definitely do that. But in terms of new partners, engaging new partners, the strategic plan heavily relies on all of this. I'd be so interested to hear from anyone in the field. What does it mean to work with the social movement, for example? We've been sort of debating this a little. What would we need to enable that? What could it mean? So new partnerships will give us a lot of interesting challenges that I think we're ready to tackle now. Nagina, back.
Thank you, Mona. And now we have quite a few questions on the technologies, and it includes also the telemedicine, the virtual reality training, artificial intelligence, scaling up of the successful last mile assurance technologies. So Nayanesh, I will invite you now to maybe speak about it briefly.
Sure, Nagina, and honestly, very encouraged to see a lot of interest in using technology to bring up some innovative solutions. We have noticed this surge, as I said in my introduction, and we are ready. So if you need some assistance, to begin with, if you have a technology-based idea and you want to validate it, you want to expand your scope, you want to make sure that your proposal is going to hold the ground, please consult us. In case we cannot find enough time to cater to your needs, we will match you up with other country offices who are already working on it. Julia asked about telemedicine, and Nicaragua country office is already working on it. So why not put Julia in touch with Nicaragua office so that you can start sharing your knowledge and build something together. Yes, the iTalk series will cover many of the innovative technology solutions. Someone is proposing the satellite imagery. Indeed, we are already using satellite imagery in census taking operations and other surveys, and we'll be talking about that at some point. The goal is actually not to overwhelm you with so many iTalk presentations. What we are planning to do is perhaps go on a monthly basis. So every month there'll be a new topic. If the topic is of interest to you, come and attend. And at the same time, as I said, we are looking for suggestions. So if you think that there is a topic that could help the entire organization, please let us know, and we'll immediately find some private sector experts and bring them to you. We are already working with UN Innovation Network, with other private sector partners, Google and other big companies, and they will come. They'll come and hold your hands, not only just give you a presentation, but hold your hand to move you forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nainesh. And we also see one very important question on how we do not let our key innovators not to burn out, how we make sure they have time to innovate. And I will invite Marvin now to tell us about something we're also cooking in that regard.
Yes, thank you, Nigina. And these are some initial thoughts we have. So we really appreciate all the ideas we're getting from you today and in the weeks and months ahead. So about iTime or iDetail, this could be dedicated time that each of us get to work on innovation projects. We're also exploring potential innovation detail assignments. These could be face-to-face or even virtual. So there's a lot of ideas. And I saw there's also a question from Berenguer, if we would include innovation into terms of references into the PAD system. So these are all great ideas. We are also looking at a new and updated UNFPA competency framework where innovation can be taking a much more prominent place, and also looking at potential indicators aligned to all the discussion points we had today. So thank you so much for these ideas. Also, as part of the New People strategy, we will invite you to continue the dialogue to really get more of your ideas, because especially our country office and field office colleagues, we really want to hear from you to help you on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. And also, we see the question about the UN Innovation Network. We will be sharing all the links, and also to say that in the fall, we will be having a series of webinars with the UN Staff College and UN Innovation Network on the innovation toolkits. They will be presenting, and we will do it specifically for regions, and they will answer the questions on innovation toolkits, and also will give you that amazing set of knowledge, which is so useful for innovation as well. I would also now would like to invite Mira. There is an interesting question about new ways of financing, engaging with business and social business. So Mira, maybe you can tell a little about that.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I like how it ends. We do not dare enough in the UN system. And I think it is an interesting dance between kind of like the fact, the necessary checks and balances that they are, because we are publicly funded, UN organization, we stand for the norms and standards, as well as try to engage in a more kind of private sector oriented ways and kind of like in a way unblock the kind of like investments. So it's a constant balance. And I think we are getting better at negotiating it. But at the same time, the best way to do that is to partner with those kinds of entities that can operate differently from us and bring our comparative advantages together. And that's the best way then to show our governance that we could, in a way, try to expand kind of, in a way, the different ways that we work and try to deliver change. So that's definitely something that is part of the plan. And we should try to advocate this through examples, how we work with social businesses. And that's why one of the first instruments that we are proposing is one that allows us more to work with social business, because sometimes we have difficulty working with for-profit entities. And as Mona said, it's not always that there's a hard stop. It's just that we have to figure out how to do it, respecting our kind of like rules and regulations. So whoever the anonymous attendee is, I expect that you will be very much engaged as we move and flex kind of like our boundaries in this area, both in UNFPA as well as because we participate in the bigger UN context on this too. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you, Mira. And maybe the last one, there is kind of like a thread going through different questions on how do we attract and engage with new partners and leverage the existing partners to actually co-create, co-innovate together. And I will give the floor to Gilles to answer that briefly, and then we'll move on to the closure. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nigina. And I think, you know, what we said about creating that idea bank, really being able to identify those most promising concepts and being able to showcase them and pitch them to private sector partners is really what will make UNFPA the most attractive organization to partner on innovation. The co-creation process is also something really important. And so, you know, the strategic partnerships branch also establishes those relations where we engage from the initial stage of an idea, those partners. And so I think creating those platforms where we can present our needs and our ideas, engage them, the private sector to bring their skills and resources to the party is a really great way to establish those new relationships. And so we're looking forward to working with all the offices around the world to be able to take what you already do on the ground, the great solutions that you have already established, to be able to bring that to partners to achieve that scale and impact that we're after. Thanks a lot, Nigina.
Thank you, Gilles. And there are many more questions, of course, and we do promise we save all of them from the chat, from the Q&A panel, from the community page, and we will really answer each of the questions. And as I say, we also will be having regional dialogues with the regions, so there will be more opportunity. And it's actually really helping us. The more questions, the more ideas we're hearing, the better we do. And what we do is actually to help everybody across organizations. So this is really expanding the community of innovators. And on that note, let me please invite Diene to reflect on what she heard and also close this exciting town hall.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all the colleagues who have who wish me well, thinking that I was sick. I'm not sick. I was just running to be on time in the office. That's it. But really, this discussion is so inspiring, and I would like to thank all for your contribution, but would like to thank all our amazing panelists. I've learned so much. There are some iZone, I have no idea what it is, but you know, I think I will learn more about it. And this is what I can say here first is the panelists walk the talk. They have walked the talk for many, many years, and today they are being recognized for their hard work. So this is what is expected from all of us, wherever we sit. So thanks as well to all the leaders that have joined today, the representatives, the EC members, and I would like a specific shout out for the DED management Eve, who has been, you know, listening throughout. It is important. This is not one side of the house. You can see from this panel, it's everyone, everywhere. So thank you for that. For me, disruption is important in a nice way. Efficiency, creativity, knowledge sharing means we all are willing to learn and we need to learn. And it's true, we need to go back to all the questions because we need the answers. Most of us don't know the answer for that. Those who knows will help us understand better. At the Generation Equality Forum, UNFPA made a corporate commitment under the Action Coalition for Gender Equality. In Nairobi, our partners made commitment, and we need to help them follow in the most innovative way. All innovation may not be groundbreaking, but all innovation provide a breakthrough. Let's all commit to apply frontier technologies and people-centered innovative solutions to provide affordable and sustainable access to essential reproductive health commodities, services, and information, to scale up prevention and responses to gender-based violence and harmful practices, and to support the availability of disaggregated highly quality data to inform evidence-based solutions for women and girls, especially those left furthest behind. And all the video that came from the country offices were so explicit and fantastic that we can do more and we can do better. And congratulations to all those teams. And I would like to hold us to this commitment. I truly believe that we can do it. I count on you. This is our organization. We can make a difference. We have the right executive director for that. And our next meeting is on what it takes to get us there, as Mira mentioned it. Thank you all. And Nigina and panelists, bravo to you again.
Thank you, Diana, and we all wishing you all good rest of the day. And while we are disconnecting, we can play the video on innovation again.
Progress today moves at breakneck speed. The possibilities are huge. So are the challenges. Amid continued advances, too many people are left behind. At UNFPA, we strive for a world where every person can exercise their human rights. Getting there is not easy, but one thing is clear: business as usual is not enough. We must innovate for change. We must make the most of cutting-edge technology. We must think big, think collaboratively, think from the bottom up instead of the top down. Fearlessly take calculated risks that can deliver on a mass scale. Through innovation, we can lead the global drive for breakthrough solutions and achieve transformative change for women and girls. Let's innovate for 2030. Our blueprint for innovation is the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs. The Agenda imagines a world with universal access to sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights. Let's innovate to get to zero. Zero maternal deaths, zero unmet need for family planning, zero violence against women and girls. Getting to zero depends on all our programs harnessing innovation to unblock bottlenecks and scale up results. Let's innovate to be bold, vocal, and visible. Innovation ecosystems link people and ideas. Collaboration speeds transformation. We can channel its power by boldly mobilizing people to see, understand, and act on our mission. So let's move. It is time to make innovation part of our organizational DNA. We must explore, test, learn, partner, seek out innovative financing, and replicate what works far and wide. For realizing the SDGs, for getting to zero, for every woman and young person without exception. Innovation is our future, starting here. Starting now.